Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Focus Integration's audio notes on the connected worker revolution. For more information on these topics, please visit our website at focusintegration.com.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into some source material that, well, it really changes how you think about the factory floor.
It really does.
We're talking about what our sources are calling the connected worker revolution. And if your picture of a futuristic factory is just, robots in a line, you might need to adjust that image. This deep dive is all about understanding that the future of manufacturing is completely tied to empowering the human operator, giving them the best possible digital tools to succeed.
Right. But to get to the solution, we have to start with the problem.
Absolutely. Our sources call this the silent crisis.
Which is such a great term for it, because if you walk into any big modern plant today, the technology is just phenomenal.
Oh, it's incredible. You've got autonomous guided vehicles zipping around, smart machines talking to each other.
Exactly. Advanced controls, complex networks. It's all highly digital. And yet
you look at the person actually running the line, the frontline worker.
And what are they holding?
A clipboard or paper instructions from a binder.
It's a fundamental technological mismatch. It's like having a Formula One car, but the driver gets directions on the back of a napkin.
That's a perfect analogy.
Workers are expected to perform these incredibly complex, precise tasks with millions of dollars of equipment. But their support system, their source of truth, it's decades old.
And that mismatch creates the inefficiency, the safety risks, and just a huge amount of stress.
A huge amount.
Yeah.
You're asking people to hold the entire plant's knowledge in their memory. And that's just not sustainable.
Not with today's complexity.
No. And that's why the mission for this deep dive is so critical for you to understand. We need to unpack how this crisis is being solved by what the sources describe as a plant-wide operating system.
A sort of digital nervous system for the whole factory.
That's the term they use, a digital nervous system.
Okay, let's unpack that. But before we get into the anatomy of it, let's define the core concept. What is a connected worker? Because that term can feel a bit like corporate jargon.
That's a very fair point. And the sources are actually very clear on this. A connected worker is any frontline employee who has direct, real-time access to the information, the tools, and the guidance they need.
To do their job with.
Right.
What, accuracy and confidence?
Accuracy, confidence, and this is key safety. It's about digitally removing all of those old roadblocks, all the ambiguity.
Okay. So how do you do that?
Well, the ecosystem is built on 4 integrated pillars of intelligence. You can think of them as the 4 senses of this new digital organism.
The 4 senses. I like that. Lay them out for us.
Okay, so the first is shared intelligence. This is the public visual layer. Think big digital screens showing real-time KPIs, quality trends, safety conditions for the whole team.
So no more squinting at a handwritten tally on a dusty whiteboard.
Gone. It's instant, transparent data for everyone. Then the second pillar is individual intelligence.
This is the personal stuff.
Right. The guidance delivered on mobile tools. Tablets, maybe a smartphone, wearables, even augmented reality that overlays instructions onto the real world.
Guiding that one specific operator through their tasks.
Exactly. Third, we have operational intelligence. This is what manages the procedures, the processes themselves. So digital checklists, guided troubleshooting, things like that.
And critical safety protocols like lockout-out.
Especially lockout-out or LATO.
Yeah.
The system manages the actual flow of the process, not just displaying data.
Okay, and the last one has to be the machines themselves.
You got it. The fourth pillar, machine intelligence. This is all the data streaming from sensors, from PLCs, the machine's brain, from the AGVs. And the real magic happens when you fuse all 4.
Because then the operator isn't just reacting.
They're not. The insight here is that this integration fundamentally changes the human's role. Operators stop guessing, they start knowing. They stop reacting to chaos. They act on data.
They stop relying on memory.
And start relying on a unified digital environment that's supporting them every single step of the way.
That's a powerful shift. It moves their mental energy from just finding information to actually applying it. Now, you mentioned this isn't just a trendy idea. The sources stress this is a necessary response to 5 big, irreversible shifts in manufacturing. Why now?
Because the entire environment has changed. Let's start with the first shift. Technology is just outpacing training.
How so?
Modern automation, modern robotics. They demand that operators make smarter decisions, faster. But the old training methods, sitting in a classroom, reading a manual, they can't keep up.
They can't scale.
Not at all. You need training delivered right there in the moment, on demand. Otherwise, the machine either sits idle or, worse, it runs incorrectly.
And that pressure ties right into the second shift, which is workforce dynamics and turnover.
A huge one.
I mean, think about the next generation workers. They're digital natives. They expect modern tools.
They're not going to tolerate an unsafe environment where they have to guess what to do from a 3-ring binder. The sources are really clear on this.
It's a hiring issue.
It's a hiring and a retention issue. Having these connected tools is no longer a perk. It's non-negotiable in the war for talent.
Which flows into the third shift, data as a competitive advantage.
This is pure economics. In today's global supply chain, the plants that see issues first, they win, period.
So if your competitor knows they have a problem 3 hours before you do,
You've already lost. A connected workforce is the fastest way to get that data out there and make the whole organization more adaptable.
and that adaptability is so important, especially for shift 4. Heightened safety expectations.
Right. It's not just regulators anymore. It's customers, insurers, and the employees themselves. They all demand a safer workplace.
And it's interesting, these connected systems started as efficiency tools, but now they're evolving into frontline safety infrastructure.
They are. Because the system guides the human, it prevents incidents before they happen. Which brings us to the last shift, which is maybe the most obvious one. Complexity has simply outgrown paper. We're just past the point where you can run a sophisticated operation with clipboards and phone trees.
It creates too much cognitive load on the operator.
Exactly that phrase, cognitive load. Digital systems remove that burden of having to find, verify, and recall information. It lets the operator just focus on execution.
Okay, so we've got the 4 pillars and the why, the 5 shifts. Let's get into the how. If this is a digital nervous system, what are the actual building blocks on the factory floor?
Let's start with the most visible part, the shared visual layer. This is the public interface, those big boards we talked about.
The heartbeat of the operation.
Yes. And they're not showing static data. They're showing live, OBE overall equipment effectiveness, the gold standard metric, and detailed downtime breakdowns. They're showing and-on calls.
So the modern version of pulling a cord to say there's a problem.
Exactly, but it's all digital now. The main function here is just instant transparency. No one has to ask how the line is running. They know.
Which frees up supervisors to do their actual jobs. But what about the instructions? We have to get rid of that 3-ring binder.
We do, and that's where digital work instructions come in. This is what replaces memory and paper SOPs. Steps are guided, in order, often with rich media.
Like animations, photos.
Or even AR overlays showing exactly where a part goes.
Now, wait. What happens if engineering changes a process? That lag time between the change and the new instructions hitting the floor is where so many mistakes happen.
That is the critical point. With these platforms, when engineering makes a change, that new procedure is pushed out instantly to every tablet, every display, every workstation.
So it dramatically reduces scrap and setup errors.
Dramatically. And operator stress, too.
Okay, let's go back to the nervous system idea. If a machine feels pain, a fault, a breakdown, how does the system signal for help? That's the real-time escalation, right?
Right, the end-on workflow. This is where you eliminate the panic. An operator sees an issue or a sensor triggers an alert, and they hit a digital button.
And then what?
The system instantly auto-assigns that alert to the right person maintenance, a supervisor, based on priority and location. The issue pops up on the big boards, and the system tracks response time.
And the operator isn't just standing there waiting.
No. The system can guide them through initial troubleshooting steps, things they're cleared to do, until help arrives. It eliminates that chaotic downtime.
That sounds incredibly efficient. But let me push back a little. If you're pulling in all this machine data from PLCs and sensors, plus all the operator input, couldn't that just create a mountain of data that overwhelms everyone?
That is the key challenge. And the answer is all about filtering and context. The system is designed to turn raw data into actionable context.
Meaning sample?
Sure, a raw PLC signal might just say, pressure drop. The connected worker platform translates that into something like, pressure drop on pump 3, check valve A per procedure 4.1.
Ah, so it's specific.
And it might even add, only perform if you are level 3 certified. It only shows the operator what they need when they need it based on who they are.
Which brings us neatly to the next part, the skills matrix and digital training support.
Exactly. The platform knows the expertise of the entire workforce. It maps who is certified on what machine, who needs a safety refresher, who can run which station.
That's a game changer for management.
It's revolutionary. You move from staffing by guesswork to dynamically staffing the line based on real-time needs and proven competencies. You reduce so much risk.
And this all hinges on that final component, the machine data integration.
Correct. This is what solidifies the human-machine partnership. When the machine data and the human data, what the operator saw, what they did, live in the same system, the insights are powerful.
So downtime is no longer a mystery.
It's explained instantly. Quality issues can be immediately correlated to specific conditions, and predictive maintenance alerts become truly actionable because the system can deliver the step-by-step fix directly to the right person.
Okay, let's shift to the payoff. Why should you, our listener, really care about this? Let's talk about the two biggest things, safety and quality. Starting with safety.
The sources say technology and safety are no longer separate conversations. A connected workforce is just a safer workforce, period.
Because the system removes the human error that causes most incidents. You get live visibility of hazards.
Right. Those big displays are showing real-time LODO status. Is that machine really powered down? They're showing safety faults, e-stop activations. You can't ignore it.
And that visibility is backed up by guided safety procedures.
There's this huge. For a critical task like a lockout or a confined space entry, the system becomes a digital co-pilot. It forces you to follow the steps in order.
Requiring verification, maybe? Like taking a photo?
Often, yes. A digital check that ensures nothing gets skipped, nothing gets forgotten, which, in an emergency, is everything.
Right. The operator isn't yelling for help or, even worse, trying to fix something dangerous on their own.
That real-time escalation turns a potential catastrophe into a controlled, tracked procedure. It's a massive safety win.
Now let's talk quality. The sources are really clear here. Most quality failures come from a lack of clarity.
Or standardization. Or using an outdated procedure. Connected systems solve this by making standardization the default.
They give you live defect dashboards, so you see a negative trend the second it starts.
Exactly. And more importantly, they deliver that step-by-step guidance for every single inspection, ensuring that everyone on all 3 shifts is using the exact same up-to-the-minute procedure.
You're surgically removing ambiguity from the process.
And when you do that, quality becomes incredibly stable.
Which brings us to the ultimate payoff. Productivity gains. We've touched on this, but what's the big picture?
The sources say connected workers operate without blind spots. They eliminate all those bottlenecks caused by missing information, slow escalation, ambiguous priorities.
And the numbers back this up.
Oh yeah. Sources report dramatic improvements in uptime, much faster response times, reduced changeover times, and more consistency between shifts.
The machines run better because the operators can intervene faster and more effectively.
They can finally operate at the pace of the machine, not the pace of paper.
And that leads to the final and maybe most important benefit, the cultural transformation. This is the human side of it.
It's the least understood, but it might be the most valuable. When everyone has this common visibility, this real-time guidance, something profound happens to the culture.
The blame game stops.
The blame culture just fades away. Because the system is transparent, there's no hiding mistakes, but there's also a clear record of what happened and why.
So trust increases.
Trust goes up. And supervisors who used to spend all day firefighting and checking up on people can actually spend their time leading, coaching, developing their teams.
They become leaders, not just administrators.
Exactly. And the operator feels respected, supported, and empowered. The sources link this directly to higher morale and much lower turnover.
It's a shift from being told what to do to being empowered to act.
That's the perfect way to put it. Which brings us to our final takeaway. This is all about elevation, not replacement.
Right. Automation takes away the dull, dirty, and dangerous tasks.
And these connected platforms take away the confusion, the guesswork, and the stress. Together, they create an environment where the human worker can think more, solve more, and contribute more.
So instead of being the weakest link, the frontline worker becomes the company's strongest competitive advantage.
That's the goal. And companies that adopt this aren't just getting operational wins like less downtime. They're getting strategic advantages, more resilience, stronger customer relationships, and it's much easier to scale best practices across multiple sites.
So the factories of the future won't just be defined by their robots.
Not at all. They'll be defined by the digital bridge that lets humans and machines work together seamlessly. And if this connected worker ecosystem really is the new model for excellence, that leaves a pretty provocative question for you.
Which is?
What unexpected, higher-value roles will the human operator take on next when their mind is finally freed from the burden of paper, ambiguity, and just relying on memory?
That is something to think about until our next deep dive.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Focus Integration's audio notes on the connected worker revolution. For more information on these topics, please visit our website at focusintegration.com.